Cause I'm back again. I'm reloaded, fool.
Welcome to the library, where the books are kept and inside of the stories. My stories, story time with T. And as always, man, if life got you twisted, or you want to get twisted with Twisted Teas. Sweet tea whiskey. Available now for you guys to get. As always, man, got to start it off with a sip before we get into the story. That's good. So, man, the last hoorah. All right, man. Well, I had just got through leaving Texas, South Texas, and me and the family had moved to San Diego, California. I was going back to school to try to get more certifications in my rate. And also, too, after getting these certifications, I was planning on re-enlistment because my enlistment was almost up. With these certifications, I can get up to $60,000 on re-enlistment bonus. So, I put myself in school, went out to San Diego, back to San Diego base out there, going to school. Now, I was supposed to go to 3 schools. I was supposed to spend a year in school to get these certifications, become this sonar supervisor. And with that, upon re-enlistment, possibly get up to $60,000. So I take my family, man, we moved to Cali. We got some nice little condo out there. Pretty. Weather's beautiful. This is my second time living in San Diego. I'm going to school. I start the first school. They teach me a system called the Mark 116 fire control system. It's a system that fires the torpedoes over the side and rocket thrown torpedoes as rocks, anti-submarine rockets. And so, man, I knock out that school. And a lot of times in the military, in between schools, they have some things like temporary duty in between classes till they can get room to squeeze you in. So they'll have you around the base, just like doing basic cleanup or cutting the grass on base, stuff like that, until the class starts. So I finished the first school, man. I'm looking on the list. A lot of my buddies from when I first came in the military was back at school too, trying to further their careers. And so, man, I'm looking at the board and I see the classing up for the other classes, the 2 other classes I'm supposed to be taking. And I notice my name ain't up there. It's getting closer and closer to the start date. And I notice my name ain't on there. So I go to the leader, man. I go to the leading petty officer. And I said, hey, what's up, man? I notice my name ain't on the board yet. I'm noticing everybody else's name is up there. Oh, don't worry, man, your name gonna be up there. Don't worry, your name gonna be up there. At this time, I was at E5. E5, you can go on DFAS and you could look up your orders. At that time, you could look up your orders, see if you had orders. You didn't have to go to the detail or whatever like that to see what they had. You could look and see what was available and see what your orders were. So something tells me in the back of my mind, hey, go check, see if you already got orders. Because these people act like they're avoiding you every time you ask them when you start in class. So I go look, and sure enough, man, I got orders to go to Japan. I was planning to go to Japan, but after the year of school. So I already, after finishing the first school, I got orders to go to Japan, and I got to leave in less than 2 weeks. Now this leading petty officer, he know that. That's why he been avoiding me. Every time I try to get attention, like he was cutting corners or crossing the street or turning, running away or something. So I caught up with him, man. I grabbed him. I said, hey, man, what's up with this, man? Say I already got orders to go to Japan. I'm supposed to leave less than 2 weeks. I said, I got my family out here, man. I'm supposed to go to school for a year. He's like, man, talk to your detailer. So I talked to my detailer. Now I had signed some papers saying that, I was a little outside of a year of my last year of my enlistment, coming up on the 10-year mark. And so they was like, for me going to Japan, I signed a paper saying that once I would complete school, I was going to re-enlist so I could spend the complete time required of me being in Japan. Supposed to be in Japan for 3 years with my family. And I think you can't do no more than 2 years if you're unaccompanied, right? So I catch up with the leading petty officer. He's like, yeah, you got orders, talk to your detailer. I call my detailer. I said, man, we made an agreement. I'm going to school for this certification. I'm supposed to go to 3 schools. I only completed 1. He's like, yeah, but that's not what the Navy need right now. They need a Mark 116 operator, and you got the qualifications. So this is the 2nd time I've been railroaded on my job or position in the military. Actually, I didn't even pick sonar tech. I got put as a sonar tech. I picked to be a CTM, maintenance guy on crypto gear, top secret clearance. With sonar, I had secret with top secret access. And so he's like, that's it, man. You supposed to ship out. I was like, man, I got my family with me out here. He was like, well, make precautions so you can move your family out there to Japan. So I go back, man, I talk to the wife. I say, hey, I got to ship out. I got everything in order. I got a power of attorney so she can sign stuff in my name. And I showed her where to go so she can get the passports and stuff for the kids done. Because I had to ship out. I say, I'll go first. Y'all meet me over there. You know? So the time passed. I catch my flight. I fly to Japan. Yokosuka, Japan. I get to the ship. Catch the train down from Tokyo. I get to the ship, man, and, check in. Immediately, they get me to the base, try to get me set up for base housing. I'm communicating with the wife. She says she got the pictures done, and she finna go get the kids' passports done. The people already got me a spot lined up for base housing. And then I run into one of my buddies, man, my boy Henry. We were stationed together on Ticonderoga. So I'm getting cool with him and his family. He's like, man, I'm looking forward to, seeing you and your family again. I'm like, cool, man, they're gonna be here soon. Then I call, and she said she's not coming. Something about medical, something about some condition, which was, I believe was a lie. I just believe she didn't want to come. So I got all this stuff lined up. All these people expecting, I'm expecting my family to come because I want my kids to learn another language. I want my kids to see how it is to travel, to live in a foreign land and see how it is different from America. Expand their view. And so here I am, I got to tell everybody the housing, my family's not coming. So then I got to go to the ship and tell them like, hey, my family ain't gonna be here. So they got to change my stuff to 2 years. So they changed my paperwork to 2 years, but I only got like a year left on my enlistment. All right. So in that time, man, I'm by myself. I'm staying on the ship. At this time, I'm an E5. I've been in 9 years, some change. So communication, man. My wife at the time, because I say, hey, go to Texas. We got a house in Texas. Go to Texas. It'll be cheap. We got a nice big house in Texas. You can save money, and plus we'll get more money for staying in Texas. We could be able to stack up and save some other things we could do. She didn't go to Texas. She went back to where she came from. She went back to Mississippi. She drove right past Texas. After being out there, I didn't hear from her too much. Time going by, man, I didn't really hear from her. It's like I had to talk to other people to see how my kids was doing. I was on the other side of the world pretty much by myself. The only people that picked up the phone for me really was my family, my mother, my father, my brother, my sister, my homeboys, man, my boy Dave and my boy Jason. Those were the people I talked to while I was over in Japan. I rarely even spoke to the wife. Hardly ever got to speak to my kids, even with email. I would send emails and they would get unanswered. At that time, I just became an ATM. So I had got myself a Japanese girlfriend. I say, well, shit. I'm out here, I might as well get me somebody to spend my time with instead of just being lonely. And so, man, we would hang out and she would show me Japan. I would help her with her English. She would help me with my Japanese. And so she lived like 2 towns out from where the base was. And so, man, I learned how to ride the train and the subway system. And also, man, how to ride the bullet trains, to and from. I used to take the bullet train through the countryside. It's beautiful. And so one day I went, we spent a weekend out. I'm coming back to the base. And it's the evening time because I got to get ready for work the next day. And so I go and I go get me a drink. They used to have this thing called a Hoorah stand. And Hoorah is sochu mixed with like a fruity beverage, a soda or a juice. And it's really good. One of them will get you right. How you do is mix the juice with it, and it takes the flavor of whatever it's mixed with. So you don't even taste the alcohol, but it's good. So they call it Hoorah when you mix it together. So I go to the Hoorah stand, I give me one Hoorah before I head back to base. And while I'm drinking the Hoorah, man, the short patrol come up. They say, hey, Swin, where your Liberty Buddy at? For those that don't know, a Liberty Buddy, and it was required in Japan. If you was going to go out and go drinking, you had to have a buddy with you. You had to have signed paperwork saying y'all was going out to drink. I didn't hang with nobody. I had a couple guys I was cool with, but most I didn't hang with nobody because either they was too young and I had to babysit them, or they was too old and we ain't had nothing in common. So I just hung by myself a lot. And so I said, I don't have one. They were like, you need to leave. So I had my drink in my hand. So when I turned my drink up, I said, all right, cool. At the time, like I said, I'm at E5. I don't have to be back to the ship till 6:30 in the morning for morning muster. So I leave. But I stayed out that night, man. Went to the bars and stuff like that. Went to the club, hung out with my buddies. The couple buddies I had. And then I came to the ship in the morning. When I crossed the quarterdeck, getting on the ship, they say, get him, get him, get him, get him, get him. So these guys grab me, man. They take my ID out of my hand. Could you show your ID to get on the boat? They take my ID, man. They hold me, man, for 48 hours without telling me. Next thing I know, they getting me dressed to go, telling me to get dressed so I can go to DRB, and then they sending me straight up to Captain's Mast. I'm like, what? They were saying you was out in town. You was drinking without a Liberty Buddy. You didn't have it on your Liberty plan. You probably was drunk. I say, no, I wasn't drunk. All I had was one drink. It's like, well, why didn't you come back to the boat? I said, I don't have to be back to the boat to the morning time. I'm E5. They say, we told you to leave. I said, I did leave, but you didn't come to the boat. I don't have to come to the boat until it's working time. So, man, they send me up to Captain's Mast. And these fools give me 45 days of restriction, 45 days extra duty, and half month's pay. I forgot, it was like ×2 or something like that. And then they gave me suspended bus. So what that is I was still at E5, but if I got in trouble within a 6-month window, I would be demoted to an E4. I say, this is some bullshit, because at the same time, we had some people on our boat got in fight with locals, punching cab drivers. We had people sexually assaulting locals. We also had some guys on the boat at the same time. They were standing in line with me before I went and saw the captain. Well, they had grabbed a guy and they held him down. They took turns punching and kicking him in the nuts. Now, guess what these guys got? They got 45 days extra duty. That was it. No restriction, no money taken, no reduction in rate. So, restriction means you can't leave the boat. You can't even eat anything from outside of the boat. Somebody bring you something to eat, they get in trouble and you get in trouble. You just got to eat what's in the mess decks, the cafeteria on the boat, or at the vending machines. So I'm on restriction. Every night they're making us, 8 o'clock every night, they're making us jump in dress uniforms and do a uniform inspection. They had us, after we worked our regular day, they would make us go do extra duty, do dirty work, clean up stuff, man, do super dirty work, and then less than 30 minutes, be cleaned and dressed for a dress uniform inspection. Every night, Monday through Friday. So I'm doing this, man, for 45 days, And so they got us cleaning toilets, all kind of stuff, man. I'm like, this is some BS, man. They never would have did this in the States. I'm like, man, duty in Japan sucked. Japan is lovely, but the military has sucked, So time goes by, I complete the 45 days of restriction, the 45 days of extra duty. because whatever they would make me do some bullshit, I'll just put my headphones on, put my music on, and I'm good. That would take my mind away from the task I was doing. And also, I was like, man, shit, since they treat me like I'm in jail, I can't go nowhere. Might as well get swole. So I started back working out. So I got to the point where I'm like bench pressing like 400 pounds. And I don't need no spot. I don't need no lift out from nobody. I just work out by myself. Nobody else can help me. You know? So 45 days passed. They put me on a curfew. They put me on a 6 o'clock curfew. I'm like, what the hell is this? I completed my requirements without any hassle. They was like, yeah, but we're gonna put you on this curfew. And it's like, okay, when we come back from this cruise, you'll be off curfew. I'm like, okay, cool. So we get underway, and I'm in sonar. So the ship I was on, man, we was a test platform for all the new sonar. So anything came new in sonar, it would get installed on our ship and we'd test it out. So we out running these drills in the water, man. After the little underway time, we pulled back in home port. And the Master Chief told me, he said, hey, when we get back, you off curfew. You know, higher up said, when we get back, you off curfew. I'm like, cool. Cause what they was doing, what they was doing, man, was some bullshit. We got back, and they got these things called Liberty plans. All right, you get that at the end of the day with that piece of paper that allows you to walk off the ship and go enjoy your freedom, right? So we get back. It's the day I'm supposed to be off my curfew, right? We all standing there at the end of the day in our meeting spot. Sonar 1. They everybody meet, they passing out Liberty plans. I don't get one. I say, well, I don't get one. They say you need to talk to Chief. He said you still on curfew. I say, oh, so I go to Master Chief. I say, hey, Master Chief, man, you was the first person that told me once we got back in Homeport that I'd be off curfew. He's like, yeah, but your chief recommended that you stay on curfew. I'm like, why? He said, you got to talk it out with him. I'm a grown man, bro. I'm like 28, 29 years old. I got a family. And these people trying to railroad me. For what reason, I don't know, because I ain't do nothing bad to nobody. All I did was have a drink by myself. I wasn't even drunk. I ain't hurt nobody. Right? So I go see the chief, and he comes out. I go beat on the chief mess door. This is where all the chiefs live at. And they got their own little cafeteria area. And so I beat on the door. I asked for the chief to come out. He come on out. I said, hey, what's going on, man? I just spoke to Master Chief. He said, you still got me on curfew. That you recommended it. He was like, yeah. I say, why? I've done everything you folks have asked me to do. Can you tell me why you think I need to still be on the curfew? He said, I don't have to answer you anything. My rank, I don't have to speak to you because of my rank. So I told him, I say, man, fuck your rank. Man to man. You tell me why you made this decision. He's like, I don't have to speak to you because of my rank. So at this time, man, if you hit a person E7 or above, you can get in big trouble. I was thinking about knocking the shit out this man. So I had that piece of paper in my hand, that Liberty plan. And I balled that, man, I was already swole, man. I balled that thing up, man, and I threw it. And threw it at him. Told him, fuck you, and walked off. So I said, I guess they want to treat me like I'm really gonna go hard, man. So I started working out more, man. I got so strong. They came and told me they got this thing called a master at arms. He's like the sheriff on the boat. He came and told me, he was a black dude. He came and told me, he said, hey, man, you can't go to the gym no more, it's off limits. He pulled me to the side. He said, hey, man, they're afraid that because how strong you done got, that if something pop off, they're not gonna be able to handle you. So the gym is off limits. You can't go in there. And this is the truth. This is the truth. So I had other ways of working out. It's a ship. It's full of pipes, rails, all kind of stuff. I can still do push-ups, dips, pull-ups, all that kind of stuff, ass squats. You know what I'm saying? So I maintain my workout. So then Christmas time comes around because I got this trouble started in September. Christmas time comes around. Christmas time comes around. And I'm still in that 6-month window, you know, just to clear things up. And so I get a ticket to go fly home to the States so I can spend Christmas with the family, right? Now, remember earlier in the story, I told you that they did a half month's pay times 2, right? So I had money in my account, but they waited till December to take the money. They waited till Christmas time to not pay me. So I didn't really have any money to buy gifts. I had money to fly home. And it was about $1,400, $1,500 to fly home, round trip from Japan to the States. And so, man, I came home. My family was like, we don't care as long as you're here. Don't worry about that. We just want to see you. Okay, so I fly home. I spend my Christmas vacation with my fam. Right? It comes time to fly back. I go to the airport. All flights around the whole United States was canceled going to Japan. No flights are going to Japan. Boom, the damn supposed to take off because Japan is 13 hours ahead of the United States. So you lose, you know, you had to go back a day early so you could be on time in Japan. So all flights is canceled. Boom, I notified the command. I called the ship. I talked to my supervisor. I said, hey, all flights to Japan is canceled, stateside. They was like, yeah, we know. Just keep us posted. I said, I'll let y'all know when the next day. They said it might be one tomorrow. The next day came. All flights were still canceled. Flights didn't go out to Japan until maybe like 3 days later. So they finally said, yeah, we got flights to Japan. Boom. I told them I had been keeping in contact the whole time, talking to them on the phone and emailing them. They responded in emails. All right, I get to the airport, man. I get on the plane. I see other guys from my ship, you know, flying back to Japan. You know, we landed at the airport in Tokyo, catch the train down. Then get back to base. We walking, we laughing, man. You know, talking about the time we had with our families. Man, we get up on the boat. Guess what happened? Get him. So they hollered, get me again. I'm like, what the hell going on? I got my ID in my hand because it's my ID to get on the boat. My supervisor, my LPO, my leading petty officer, and my chief is there. They standing there, and I say, well, what's going on, man? They was like, you didn't come back on time. I say, bro, nobody could come back on time. I say, you see all these people? We all couldn't come back on time. I say, I've been communicating with y'all. My LPO goes, he said, yeah, I know, but you didn't make it back on time. So, dude, they tell me to go get dressed for captain's mask. Check this out. They tell me to go get dressed for captain's mask. So, I get dressed for captain's mask because it's in that 6-month window. I go up there, they say you violated the suspended bus. You will be busted down to E4. I try to explain myself. Now, I did that 45 days of restriction and 45 days of extra duty. Then I was on curfew for the time after that. And so they tell me this, and I'm like, these some sorry son of a bitches. I say, man, I say, this is it for me. I'm done. At that time, and I got my uniform right here. I'll show it to y'all. This is my uniform, man. These are my dress blues. As you see, at that time, you see the stripes right here. Each one of those is 4 years, right? So I've been in over 9 years. Each one of these stripes is 4 years. This right here, good conduct. It's maroon. All right? It's got 2 stars on it, 2 brass stars on it. You know why? You get good conduct for every 3 years without getting in trouble. So you get the bar for 3 years, then you get a star for additional 3 years. So you see I got a bar and 2 stars. That's 9 years good conduct. When you reach 12 years good conduct, your rating badge and your service stripes are gold. That was one of my goals, to have gold service stripes on my, because that means accomplishment. 12 years or more without anything bad happening. All right. So while I'm at captain, man, they say, "Do you have any goals?" I say, "I had one." I say, "Gold chevrons." And then the captain looked like, he said, "What is that?" He didn't even know. He supposed to be a captain. I say 12 years of good conduct, because I'm already over 9 years, so all I need is 2 years and some change. And I would have got my gold chevrons, right? At the time, as you see, my uniform has a 3rd class rating badge on it, but I was a 2nd class at that time. I said, "Well, that goal is gone. Y'all took it from me." He said, "Do you have any requests?" I say, "Yeah." I said, "I request to go to the brig." Now, a family member of mine had been to the brig, and they told me they were just chilling in the brig. It's 3 days bread and water. That's what they give you, bread and water, in the jail cell. You locked up. He said they may make you come out and do some yard work, but you spend most of your time in the cell. But once you complete those 3 days bread and water, you out for that, you back to being normal. Ain't no restriction, ain't no extra duty, nothing. You just spent 3 days in jail, bread and water. So I requested that. And then the XO asked me, he say, "What make you think you can do 3 days bread and water?" And I messed up right here. I say, "Sir, I grew up poor." So they looked at me and they said, "No, you will not be going to the brig." So I didn't get the brig. They put me back on 45 and extra duty and forfeiture of pay. But here's a little game though. When they do that forfeiture of pay, you can create allotment. They only take out of what's coming to you. But if you create an allotment and send all your money going that way, they can only take that percentage out of the little piece that's coming to you. So I'm living on the boat. I don't need much. I'm eating. You get some knickknacks out of the vending machine. So I had like $100 come to me. They take their portion out of 100 and I keep the rest. But all my thousands was going to the family. I had told the wife, "Hey, hold on to this money." Because I was supposed to fill out paperwork to re-enlist. And I said, I ain't re-enlisting. So put this money to the side because we're going to need this to live off of. So I find me a job because my time about to be up. But before I went to captain's mast that day, they did the little thing. They sent me to DRB, sent me in front of the chiefs. One of the chiefs was like, "Yeah, we gonna bust you down. You broke the rule." They was like, "The exam is coming up. You can make your rank back." Now, I remind you, I have been in over 9 years, but I have been holding that rank for over 6. I have been in E5 most of my time in the military. I had took the E6 exam, and I had passed it the last 3 or 4 times I took it. But the rate was so full that you couldn't advance. I couldn't move up. So one of the chiefs say, "Hey, the test coming up, just make your rank back." I say, "Man, you know how hard it is to advance in my rate?" I say, I've been holding this rank for over 6 years. It ain't that easy for me just to make rank back. I say, if y'all felt that way, why you take it from me? So they said, and one of the chiefs he said, "Ain't you re-enlisting?" I say, "Hell no." I say, "I ain't re-enlisting." So when they did that, they had just passed this rule called higher tenure. That if you was an E4, you couldn't do no more than 8 years in the military. So when they bust me down from E5 to E4, that made me eligible for that. I wasn't even supposed to be in no more, right? But you have to fulfill your enlistment if that happens to you. If you don't make E5 within those 8 years, you just do your time. Your time's up. You can't come back in, right? So they give you a little separation package. So when they messed up and did, and they bust me down, they screwed themselves. Now I was bust down and I couldn't stay in after my time was up. So that little contract I signed saying I would give them 2 years, and I would re-enlist, that was voided. Another thing too, also, is that the certification I had, the console I worked, the Mark 116 fire control console. The ship can't move unless you have 2 people qualified to operate that console. It's a weapon system. The ship cannot move unless you have 2 people on board that's qualified for that. Guess how many people we had qualified on board? 2. Guess who was one of them? Me. So without me, ship couldn't even get underway. Because nobody else was qualified on that. So they screwed themselves. So that day, after they pulled that stunt and bust me down, I go to the administration office. I say, hey man, what's going on? He said, hey, what's up, Swinton? I said, man, what's that reenlistment paper at? They said, oh man, it's right here. I said, let me see it. Let me look at it real quick. You know, tore it up. I was like, man, I ain't taking no advancement test. I fought hard for that position. I earned that position. Y'all want to take it away from me for some bullshit? I said, we got people committing real crimes and they're not getting no kind of punishment. I said, I'm done with this, man. So they had me on the curfew again. So I complete the 45 days restriction again, 45 days extra duty, all the cleaning, all the uniform inspections. I'm still working out, still getting swole, getting bigger. They also noticed that when I would do all this crap work, I have my headphones on, I zone out. They say, hey, you can't listen to music. They didn't want me listening to music. They didn't want anything. They didn't want me using any kind of way to clear my mind with all the bullshit I was dealing with. So I had my mind made up. So I'm getting out, man. I'm done. Again, they put me back on curfew once I finished the 45 days. They had me on curfew to 6 o'clock. This is a stunt they pulled to try to make people hate me. Like we say, we got liberty plans, right? Everybody would get out the boat around 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They be done for the day. They go home. These fools purposely held my division to 5:55 to pass out liberty plans so I could only have 5 minutes of freedom before my 6 o'clock curfew kicked in. I say, fuck y'all. I ain't even showing up the muster. They had it where the division was like, man, Swinton, man, this messed up, man. We can't even leave, man. I say, it ain't because of me, it's because of them. They trying to be assholes. Fuck them. I just stopped showing up. I do my work that was required of me. I wouldn't show up to that muster at the end of the day. I'd be in my rack. I said, y'all can keep that bullshit. I ain't feeling nothing out either. So I had made my mind up, man. I was like, I can't wait to get out this mug. They was like, well, what you gonna do? I say, well, my brother's a boat captain. I'll do what he does. What make you think? I said, well, I'm gonna be a boat captain. They said, what make you think you can do that? I said, because my brother does it. He's my twin. I said, I already know how to do all this line handling crap, you know? So we was in Korea at the time. And I had put in for, I put 1 month in early out to get out early. Now, I think you can do up to like 3 months or something like that early out, request to get out early at the end of your ELS, in the back to obligated service. So I was like, man, I don't feel like sticking around here 1 more month. I'm gonna put that 1 month early out at. What they didn't tell me was that when I did that, technically I wasn't fulfilling my whole contract. So for me to get this separation pay, this $20-something thousand in separation pay, because now I was higher tenure because I was an E4 over 8 years, you know? They didn't tell me that when I put that 1 month early out into that, took myself out of getting that separation package. When I would go to the office, I said, well, man, how much I'm getting? Because I was gonna need that money to survive till I found me some work back home in the States. Oh man, don't worry about it, man. You're gonna get it. They knew all along that because I put that paperwork in, that I wasn't getting shit. So we was in Korea, and you can't process out overseas. So they had to fly you back to the States to process you out. And the closest place, Bangor, Washington. It's like Seattle, Washington. So they fly me there, and you spend like 6 weeks, you know, there processing out. They put you in they do like these little transition classes with you, and then you gotta go through medical, make sure you physically fit before you get out, all this kind of stuff. So I get there, and I show up. I'm wearing E5 on my clothes because I've been wearing coveralls the whole time. We was on the way. I ain't wear my uniform, so I had to wear the uniform. So they look at my paperwork, and like I said, I'm getting out because my time is up. I'm not getting out because I'm in trouble. I'm not getting kicked out. My time is just up. Honorable discharge, time served. They look at my paperwork and it says E4, but my clothes show E5. they get all mad and say, man, you in trouble, you getting kicked out? Huh, what you doing? I say, bro, my time is up. I say, look at my EOS. I'm getting up because my time is out, man. I said, I've been in longer than you. I say, and well, you need to change uniform right now. I said, I didn't have no time because we didn't have no patches on the ship. I said, I'll go get some and change it now. So I'm doing my processing now. I'm doing a check in and check out across the base and stuff. I go to admin. So I said, hey, how much I'm supposed to get for my separation pay, you know, with this higher tenure? They're like, man, they ain't tell you? You ain't getting nothing. I said, what you mean? They said you put in 1 month early act. So you didn't technically fulfill your the full contract. You don't get nothing. He said, they didn't tell you that? I said, nah, they told me not to worry that I'm gonna get my stuff. He said, well, they lied to you. Bro, I automatically started stressing. You know, because the only real time I was able to communicate with my family was when I came home for Christmas. Other than that, man, I really had no communication with the wife at the time. So that money I was sending, I ain't know what was there. You know, I ain't know how much was left because I was sending it to her account, telling her that, hey, put this away, take care of the bill, put this away. We're gonna need to live off of this. You know? So I'm like, man, I'm getting out. I ain't got no job. I ain't got no job lined up. You know, her brother worked at the power company over there in Mississippi. So I was like, man, holler at your brother. Try to see if he can give me a position with the power company. That was my game plan. I was like, man, I'm gonna try to get on with the power company. Or, you know, the shipyard of Lockheed Martin, you know, Northrop Grumman, you know. Try to use whatever knowledge I gained in the military in the civilian world. So, man, I started stressing because I ain't got no damn money. And I got a family to take care of. And now I'm supposed to just be dropped off with nothing. So I started stressing, man. I developed a blister in my right eye. I couldn't see out my right eye. My whole vision was gray out my right eye and blurry. The only clear vision was out of my left eye. Went to medical. They took x-ray, put me in the machine, lasers and stuff. And they was like, you got a blister on the inside of your eye. And it's filled up with fluid and it's pressing up against the inside of your eye, creating this blur and grayness that you see. It was just gray, just at the left eye. So I'm like, man, am I gonna be like this for the rest of my life? Ain't got no money. Take care of my family. I'm stressed out. Crazy thing about that too is, when I went to medical, the doc is looking at me. He looking at me crazy after all these tests and stuff. He looking at me crazy. He said, man, what you got, it don't happen to black people. He said, usually happens to Asian and white males. He said, this don't usually happen to black people. And I was like, what? I don't know what that's supposed to mean. But he's like, yeah, you got this condition. He said, man, you can't go home because you have to go home the way you came in, fit for duty. So what he did, he wrote the paperwork out saying that, hey, I couldn't leave until my eye got better. Whether that was just over time or with surgery, you know? So that made me extend to my full EAOS, which made me eligible for the separation money. God works in mysterious ways. So I was on that base till it was time till my time was up. And 2 days before it was time for me to leave, while I'm processing, getting all the signatures and stuff, making copies of my service record and medical records, my vision cleared up. I was able to see out my right eye again. Man, they gave me like $24,000 separation, man. A nice little piece of change to try to, you know, get myself together. This is 2008, so that, you know, that went a whole lot further then than it does now. And so, man, I had a little nest, I had a little cushion until I could find me a job. And I went home, and I got out. And I said, man, people be like, why don't you stay and do 20 years? I said, man, it was too much bullshit. I was tired of being away from my family. I missed my kids. And it was just too much bullshit, man. They did too much. They pulled too many stunts while I was in there. I met some cool people. I got to see some beautiful places. I got some guys I consider my brothers, consider cousins, you know? You know? We say shipmate, family, you know. But it was some dickheads in there. And that was the last hurrah. I said, man, these cats have screwed me over too many times. I'm not sticking around for this. This is a sign. And I'm glad I got out. And so, oh yeah, I'll tell y'all a story too, man. I'll tell y'all another one. Like I was showing y'all my uniform, right? A lot of cats kept thinking I wasn't in as long as I was in. There was a lot of guys, they didn't know that I had been in, you know, in with 10 years. So they had an award ceremony. And so we had to get our medals mounted. You know what I'm saying? Oh, shit, I pull the pen off. But anyway, we had to get our medals mounted. And so when I got my stuff mounted, your boy come out jingling. Hey, look, Cool J. You jingling, baby. Go ahead, baby. I'm jingling more than some chiefs. I come out, they're like, man, who else you doing all that jingling? Oh, that's Swinton. And then they see my service stripes and they're like, man, I didn't know you had been in that long. Like I keep telling y'all, man. And so, yeah, I was shining hard, bro. I had more medals than most people that was on there. Most officers and chiefs. This right here is a NAM, man. One of my, you got to start because I got 2 NAMs. Navy Achievement Medal, man. Hurricane Katrina. I tell y'all the story about Hurricane Katrina. We got one on there, man. I did my part, man. Humanitarian, all that kind of stuff, man. Yeah. I was in doing 9/11, Iraqi freedom, all that crap. But yeah. Hell, man, oh yeah, too. When I got busted down, there was one cat that worked with me. When I first got to the ship, he tried to play me like I was, you know, lower ranked than him. He's like, hey man, I need you to go sweep and do this. Like the first day I get there, I say, man, you don't tell me what to do. I said, how long you been in? He said, I say, shit, man, I'm an E5. I've been in longer than you. I tell you what to do. Now I need you to go get a broom and go sweep that shit up. And he just kind of just frowned up. And so when they demoted me, he made it his duty to come find me. So he could tell me finally that he was in charge over me and that he made more money than me. Now, man, I was taking home like after all my deductions and stuff like that, even my allotments. I was still taking home every 1st of 15, coming to me like $2,500. You know? I get $2,500. I ain't going nowhere. I'm on the boat, but I was still getting like $2,500 because of time I had been in. Sea time, family separation, incentive pay for being in Japan. At that time, didn't nobody want to go to Japan, so they was giving people money to be there. So I was getting all these extra monies, you know. And so I was making good money. I used to pay people to stay in duty for me. I had money. But so this dude he said, hey, you gotta do what I tell you to do, and I make more money than you. I said, man, come here. They used to have this list, and they had everybody's name on it. And the list had your last 4 of your social security and your first initial and your last name. So you could see how much you was getting paid, you know, on the payday coming up. So this dude had a very unique name, so I already knew what his name was at, because he's the only person that had that letter in his name. I said, this you right here, right? He said, yeah. I said, let me show you something. I said, this me right here. I point, and you see the amount was way bigger than what he get. And now I'm an E4 now, and I still make more money than him. He was like, what? I said, I show him, like, you know, my last 4. I said, yeah, that's me right there. He's like, how do you make more money? I said, dude, I told you I've been a long time. I said, I make more money than you, and I still ain't doing shit for you. Like, get out of my face. Dude frowned up and stormed off. Some pasty dude. But yeah, man, that was the last hurrah. And that's why your boy didn't do 20. That's why I didn't retire. Too much bullshit. Yes, I wasn't a bad person. They had some bad people. Like I said, we had people selling dope. Yeah, prostitution rings in the military. All kind of stuff, man. Yeah, people sexually assaulting other shipmates. People out in town. You even had people committing murders. But I had a drink by myself. Drinking responsibly. One drink. And they tried to turn me into a villain. I ain't sticking around for this nonsense. Well, that was Story Time with T, man. Make sure you like, subscribe. And this is my story, man. Everybody got a different story about the military. It's just mine. If that's something that you want to do, more power to you. I say for some people, man, they ain't got nothing going for them. It's a way for them to get established as an adult. You get a paycheck every 1st and 15th. You got a roof over your head. You got a free meal. You got some place to stay. You got clothes on your back. Help you get established. Because you're going to get your bank account the first day. If you ain't never had a bank account, they're going to give you a bank account the first day, give you a debit card and all that. You get discounts and stuff like that. On base, you don't pay no taxes on stuff that you buy. You know. College money, if that's something you want to do. Just be wise about the job that you pick. You know. So, if that's what you want to do, I'm not going to hate on you. But, you know, I got a chance to see the world. I've been all over South America. I've been all over Asia. Like I said, I even been to Russia. Y'all know the story. That's why I met the Russian witch. But, yeah, man, that was Story Time with T, bro. Like I say, I don't regret it. There was some good times. Met some cool people. There was some dickheads and some assholes. Yeah. But you got T Swin, man. Y'all be easy. Tune in next week for Story Time with T. Peace. Stay twisted, my friends. Hey, it's me again. You got T Swin with Story Time with T. You can listen to Story Time with T on Spotify, Amazon Music, Audible, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Overcast, Pocket Cast, and Radio Public. Support the show. Listen on the go anywhere. While you work out at the job, it's your guy T Swin, Story Time with T. Check it out, y'all. Support.